Aristotle once said, or at least was said to have said, man by nature seeks to know. Research in the broadest sense is an effort to know, and I believe that the forms of knowing vary enormously, that knowing that 2 plus 2 equals 4 is one kind of knowing. Knowing that the soil in a pot is of the right wetness is another form of knowing. Knowing what an apple tastes like is another. So there are different ways in which people come to know the world. Research is an effort to refine our knowledge of X, whatever X might be. And it's done within social constraints very often. Sometimes these constraints are too constraining and sometimes they're appropriate. So research is a process of inquiry in which a human being tries to know what it is that is under investigation. Qualitative research is an effort to explore the uses and effects of qualities in order to inform somebody about either his or her capacity to have experience in that domain, or to use what has been qualified, and I'll come back to that in a moment, in order to understand what otherwise would not be available. Now, I said a lot in that paragraph. Let me try to refine it. If you take a film like Schindler's List, I hope you saw Schindler's List. Schindler's List is an amalgam of qualities, not excluding language, the ways in which language is used, the ways in which filmic processes are created, the kind of music that is played, the tempo of the discourse, collectively have an impact on the viewer, and through that impact a person is made aware of the situation portrayed in a way that a bundle of statistics would never reveal. So when I said that qualitative research is the product of the qualification of qualities, when I say, let me back up a step, the word quality itself is systematically ambiguous. Quality in the vernacular often means something of high value, like this is a quality hotel room, or this is a quality meal, or this is a quality this or a quality that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about qualities such as redness, hardness, softness, strength, weakness, etc., etc. So that a painter, for example, will take qualities of line and color and texture and composition and put them together by arranging them in ways in order to affect the experience of somebody else. And in so doing, aspects of the world are made vivid that otherwise would be dormant. So that with a Rodin or a Cézanne or a Renoir, to take very important artists, the world begins to look like the image, because the image illuminates aspect of the world that otherwise would not be seen. So art does not always imitate life. Life imitates art. The same is true in the sciences, incidentally. That is, if you learn a theory, you begin to see the world through the portals that that theory provides. People who make those theories we call scientists. People who make qualities we tend to call artists. I don't want to draw a distinction between art and science at this level. In fact, I'm pointing out that both art and both science are people who make structures that affect the way we see and come to know. Learning how to do that is one of the things that education ought to make possible. Well, when I was at Chicago, there wasn't anything called qualitative research but people were doing more research that looks like qualitative research today. Street Corner Society, for example, by William Foote White, was published in the late 40s, early 50s. That's a kind of sociological ethnography that made vivid the life of Italians in the northern section of Boston. But that was a rare species. It wasn't, in my view, until the 1950s, with the publication of Life in Classrooms, that we got a sense of what qualitative research could help us notice. Learning to notice what is subtle but significant is extraordinarily important in education. Today we take it for granted that you need to know the side effects, not only the main effects, of what you're doing.